Good day, everyone. Welcome to Trash Talk, where we talk about issues that affect our environment and give thoughts, insights, and ideas to make a difference. My name is Rain, and with me today is my partner, Kath.
Hi everyone, I'm Kath, and today is all about SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, which aims to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. In this episode, we will cover waste management and why it matters.
That's right. In this episode, we will have three guests from Ateneo de Davao Senior High School. We will talk about how we students can apply this in our daily lives, and most importantly, what is the Atenean way of addressing this issue.
Wow! Our topic today is interesting, is it not?
Right, especially with the growing issue in Mindanao today and the effects of it on our environment.
I've noticed that there is a lot of waste in our area, and it has greatly affected my everyday life. A lot of people, though aware, still continue unsustainable waste management practices, and they do not know that this greatly affects their livelihood more than they can imagine.
Right? When I walk home from school or vice versa, the potent smell of waste from the dumps hurts my nose and gives me mild headaches. I wish that they had taken proper precautions and made policies to ensure that these dumps do not affect both citizens and the environment.
Right. I guess that is why we need to raise awareness on this issue.
Moving forward, let's welcome Jose, our first guest speaker. First off, let's talk about the problem waste. It's everywhere. But what are the biggest issues we face today? Jose, what do you think?
Well, we see it every day. Improper waste disposal, plastic piling up, and overflowing trash bins. Even in school, sometimes trash isn't properly disposed or even segregated. The sad part is, we students already know the consequences of these actions, but we don't always follow proper waste management.
How do you think these issues affect your everyday life as a student?
Um, I think these affect me because improper waste management or disposal makes our surrounding unpleasant and unhygienic. For example, overflowing trash bins create a bad smell and even attract pests, and that can affect our health, and it can lead to sickness that can hinder our studies.
I guess you could call that a waste of time. No? Okay, moving on. What do you think is the stem of this problem?
I think the stem of this problem is the lack of discipline. As I have said earlier, many people know the rules and the consequences of improper waste management. However, they don't always follow them either out of laziness or convenience. And in some cases, it's a habit. If students grow up without being taught proper waste management, they carry this behavior into their adulthood.
While waste is a big problem for us, why do you think it happens?
I think it happens because of a combination of things. One is poor waste management systems, two, lack of education, and sometimes just plain carelessness. If people don't see immediate consequences, they don't feel responsible for their actions. Without strict enforcement and continuous education, it's hard to change this behavior of them.
I see. Thank you for enlightening us about this issue.
Once again, Mr. Ambayan, thank you for accepting our invitation. Now, let us proceed to the next section.
Now that we've tackled and understood the challenges of waste management, it's time to explore practical and effective solutions as well as habits that we need to adopt that can help in addressing this issue.
Thank you. Joining us today are two students who are involved in sustainability efforts. They have seen firsthand how small changes can make harvest. But, ladies and gentlemen, Pearl Ascares and Chalaya.
How are you both feeling today?
I'm happy to be part of this podcast.
So, Noy, I hope we can learn from each other today. That's great, because we will be talking a lot today.
One of the most critical steps in proper waste management is segregation. It is the basis of an effective recycling system, but it is most often ignored as people assume that it is pointless. Earl, from your own experience, how does proper segregation impact the recycling process?
It's true. A lot of people don't see how important segregation is. When waste is properly sorted, materials can still be recycled, stays clean, and it can still be used efficiently. But when everything gets mixed up, especially with food waste, it spoils and ruins the chances of recycling plastics, papers, and other materials. So instead of it being reused, it'll just end up in landfills.
That does make sense. And the problem is, segregation is often overlooked because people think that it doesn't really make much of a difference. But in reality, when waste is mixed up, even recyclable materials can become useless. Segregation is such a simple habit, yet it can have a huge impact on our lives.
Yes, segregation is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to improve waste management. Not only does it ensure that recyclable materials don't get contaminated, it can also help save and preserve our planet.
That is, but now, let's talk about the three R's: reduce, reuse, and always. Well, that's I could actually apply them in our everyday lives.
The three R's are basic, but they are really powerful when it is consistent. It is all about minimizing waste at every stage. Students can reduce waste by bringing reusable containers and bottles instead of the disposable ones. Reuse focuses more on making the most of what we already have. So instead of buying new things, we can use old ones and just improve them. Recycling comes last. Students can practice recycling by properly sorting waste, ensuring that recyclable materials like paper, plastics, and glass are clean and placed in the correct bins to be processed and reused. The three R's is a step by step process that can help minimize the overall waste production.
Exactly. The three R's works best when it is done together, like a team. And speaking of team, another important factor is our daily habits. There are simple but effective habits that can improve waste management, but it can only be truly effective when it is done collectively, like a team. Earl, what are these habits that can help in improving waste management?
There are plenty of changes that can make a big difference. One of the most common, yet important ones, is bringing items that are usable. So instead of using plastic bags and containers, we can use tote bags, tumblers, utensils instead of disposables. Composting food waste is also important to avoid spoilage in the bins. We can turn them into fertilizers. Lastly, we should be mindful of the things we should buy, choosing sustainable products and avoiding single use plastics to lessen the waste. These habits may be small, but if more people start doing them, the impact can be massive. I agree, Earl. Many people think waste management is just about throwing trash in the right bin, but it's also about preventing waste in the first place. Now, beyond just segregation, schools also play a huge role in structured waste management. This leads us to something really interesting: the Atenean approach. Now, Nella, could you please explain what this is and how it can help promote sustainability in our community today?
Yes, so the Atenean approach to waste management is rooted in the values of being a magis, the pursuit of excellence and doing more for others. It encourages students to be conscious of their environmental impact, to act with compassion by considering how these waste affect others, and to take responsibility through sustainable habits. By being committed to practicing proper waste management, we can help the environment in creating a clean environment for everyone. This approach emphasizes that waste management is not just a responsibility, but but it is also a reflection of one's values to the community.
That is a great example of how institutions can lead by example. When institutions enforce these proper link systems, it makes it easier for people to develop good habits for the environment.
The truth is, waste management isn't just about keeping our surroundings clean, it's about protecting our environment for future generations. And the best part? It all starts with something small, everyday choices.
Be the change, sort your waste, and live sustainably for a cleaner future.
Wow, that was a lot to take in. How are you holding up, Rain?
I feel quite smart right now. I understood the problem with waste management more in Mindanao. I think I'll be looking out to raising awareness on this problem with friends, family, and acquaintances.
That's right. As Ateneans, we must practice spreading awareness and information about issues surrounding our environment, especially when it's slowly destroying our ecosystem.
I hope that listeners have also listened attentively and are now thinking about the actions that could be taken in order to fix and mitigate this problem. Once again, this is your host, Rain Vargas, also known as Rain.
And your co host, Catherine Bautista, aka Kat.
Trash Talk signing out. Wait. We're not done yet.
We are?
Yeah, we have to talk about the issue more.
Oh, right.
What do you think about our topic today, Kat?
Well, I think that our topic today was not only interesting but also highly relevant to the current situation in Mindanao. The discussion provided valuable insights into the pressing issues faced by the region, particularly regarding waste management. Additionally, today's episode highlighted the significant environmental concerns caused by the lack of proper waste disposal practices in Mindanao, emphasizing how this issue negatively affects both the ecosystem and the public health. Moreover, the episode served as an important platform for raising awareness, especially among the citizens of Mindanao, about the serious consequences of inadequate waste management. It encouraged individuals, communities, and local authorities to take action in implementing more sustainable and responsible waste disposal methods. By shedding light on these challenges, today's discussion aimed to inspire positive change and promote environmental responsibility among the people of Mindanao. How about you, Rain? What are your thoughts about today's topic?
I completely agree, Kat. Waste management is a shared responsibility. And if more people take simple steps like proper segregation and disposal, we can significantly reduce its negative impact on the environment.
That's right. As stated earlier, without collective community effort, the issue of proper waste management cannot be effectively addressed. While the problem may seem straightforward, it persists due to lack of awareness, discipline, and active participation from individuals and local authorities. Proper waste disposal, recycling, and sustainable waste management practices are simple actions that, if consistently followed, could significantly reduce pollution and environmental degradation. However, despite the simplicity of the solution, many people fail to take responsibility, either due to negligence, lack of knowledge, or the absence of proper facilities. When individuals do not see the immediate consequences of their actions, they may not feel compelled to make changes. This is why community involvement, education, and strict enforcement of environmental policies are crucial. If people work together through local initiatives, government programs, and personal accountability, Mindanao can develop a cleaner, healthier, and a better environment for future generations. Ultimately, solving this issue does not require complex technologies or expensive interventions. It simply requires consistent effort, cooperation, and a commitment from everyone in the community to do their part in managing waste responsibly.
If only more people helped in preventing this issue, it would easily help the waste situation.
That's right. I hope our dear listeners have learned a thing or two from this video and apply it to their daily life.
Yeah, managing waste properly would help benefit our environment and our livelihood. We are stewards of the earth after all, and we have to take care of our environment.
Once again, I am your host, Kat.
And your host, Rain,
Remember to manage your waste properly.
and raise awareness on this issue. Trash Talk actually signing out.